welcome back to another episode of Girlfriends of a Certain Age, the live podcast where we are getting together and doing some deep dive girlfriend talks like only ladies can do when we get together live. I am your co-host, Flesché.
I am your other co-host, Jessica.
And today we thought let's roll up our sleeves and talk a little bit about taking risks at this stage of life. Because girls, we know if it's not going to be now, then when? We'll always be kicking the can down the road. And this is something that Jessica, you and I talk about all the time. So we thought, let's just hit record and talk the way you and I do when we're just like drinking tea or coffee or wine or all the things. Yeah. I'd love to know what are your initial thoughts about this idea of taking risks at this stage of life?
Well, I'm very inspired by like a big risk that I just took, which was I went on a big international trip. I went with my son to support him in his sporting endeavors. Girl, I went all the way to Brazil, Rio de Janeiro. And I didn't go with my partner because someone had to stay home with our other kiddo and he got the short stick. And as much as I was excited to go and do this, it was all new. It was a new language. It was a freaking new hemisphere. I've never been to South America. It was a big stretch, right? And I don't know if you're aware of this language for colleges, because now we're starting to think about that. There's your safety schools, there's your like comfort realistic schools, and there's your reach schools, right?
Okay.
And kids are advised to like go for a few of each. And this whole trip felt like a reach for me, right? It was like, this is out of my comfort zone, but I'm so proud of myself. I'm so glad I did it. I can't wait to share a few of the highlights with you as we discuss more. But the other takeaway I had was, well, for all the girlfriends listening, being like, that's nice, Jessica. Glad you can go on a big international trip. We can do similar things at home. Like, how
Yes.
can we mix up our routine? How can we get into the reach mode rather than the comfort mode, which is where I hang out a lot, or even the safety mode if we actually are in a space in our lives where we're like, my menopause is all over the place. I need to do the most like straightforward thing ever. So that's my perspective. And, hopefully some of my Brazilian inspiration can rub off on us all. How about you, my girlfriend?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me right now, a lot of it is about, I've been in my own menopause journey. And so my life and my attention is very inward right now. And
Mm,
so a lot of my risk taking is in little things like my fashion or letting my hair go gray. Like today I'm showing up my moo like I think mine's
How cute is her
split.
moo? Her moo is amazing. I love your moo.
Thank you. Thank you. But I want to do a whole episode, our Mrs. Roper. We still
Yeah.
need to bring. I'm even wearing a bracelet. I mean, come on. I'm sliding into my Roper era.
I love you for it. You give me the heads up. I will be there in my moo. Girlfriends, wear your moo with us. It'll be a whole thing. We love it.
That needs to be a whole big party. Maybe
Yes.
that's even like my menopause party. We'll have to.
Now
Oh
we're
yeah,
talking.
costumes are going to for sure be required.
Oh my gosh, love it.
So a lot of it's very inward, although I am finding myself stretching a little bit more and I'm doing things in a safe way. Like we've been talking about this. Like I started a new YouTube channel that I didn't tell nobody about.
Mhm.
And I've created a new community around that no one's in yet, but I'm building it and I'm building a place for women to go because I feel very called to kind of mother hen right now with my ladies who are feeling a little bit like, at this stage of life. But I think that the more I sit with this, the more I journal, the more I cry, process, release, work through old traumas. Like I'm just doing so much personal work right now. The more I do that, the more I see that healthy, safe risk taking is the most important thing we can do. We have to get into the deep end a little bit. And we have to realize we have skills we didn't know and abilities that we weren't in touch with. So much comes online. And this is my personal opinion. So, come for me in the comments if you need to. But I think that the more aligned we can get at this stage of life, the easier our process is. The
Oh,
easier we can manage whatever, the migraines, the bloating, the whatever physical symptoms that are showing up, but also the resilience to like advocate for ourselves and to talk to other people. Everyone who will sit still, I'm just like, are you doing HRT or not? What kind of patch you got? Where is it at? Can I see it? I'm just like totally being inappropriate. But guess what? Every single woman who like will stand still and let me do it, and she takes a risk, you can see her light up. "Oh, I didn't realize that I've been wearing a patch for 3 years, and that's gonna help Flesché while she's in her will I and won't I stage."
Yeah.
And I'm seeing how many sisters wanna talk about it and wanna be there, and they wanna be big sisters, and they wanna process their own experience. I think this is the time for us to shake off a lot of the rules.
Mhm.
So much of what the culture tells us fucking sucks
Yeah.
and it disempowers us. It takes away our power, our ability to even know what's possible at this stage of life. So I'm getting a little preachy because I'm really fired up about this topic because I think I really keep coming back to if not now, then when? You know?
Right. Absolutely. Oh my goodness, yes. And it kind of speaks to like staying in beginner mind, right? Which is harder as we get older. And to your point, when you're really doing the internal work, that is just as risky as, flying across the world, as we know, right? And the irony that you can go across the world, you can't escape yourself, right? So there you are, right? Wherever you go, there you are. So doing both of those things is so key. Uh, but I think sometimes when we get a little bit into our own minds, and I'm very easy at doing that, I think both of us as writers and deep feelers can really go in there, and I love it. But it reminds me that we need each other. We need community. We need to be taking notes about HRT. I was with another woman on this trip, and we were, in a group at a restaurant in Brazil, and we were talking about like, do you do the ring or do you do the estradiol cream? And here we were just in front of everybody, like just chatting away. And I thought, this is so great. Like we're comparing notes and I was like, I should take the cream more often. And she's like, yeah, if you're not really good at remembering it, maybe consider the ring, which I thought was great advice. So, as much as we know and we're becoming wiser and know ourselves, it's really important to keep that open mind for one another, right? Because that is how we are going to learn things we didn't know, help someone else who we didn't know we were even helping. I mean, that's really one of the biggest inspirations for this podcast, is because we don't want to sort of dry up and retreat, like that meme of like Homer Simpson just retreating into the bush. Like we want to get loud, we want to get interactive for ourselves, for our, family, and for each other.
Yeah. My moo sliding, excuse me.
Uh-oh, Mumu's having a moment. Mumu's having a moment.
She wants to go that way. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, honey, no.
Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to share one highlight from the trip because this was something that I felt like was a challenge on so many levels. And I just have to show off. This is a complete brag. I went with my 17-year-old, very active, athletic son. And there was this one beautiful day on the beach. We were in a place called Niterói, which is across the way from Rio de Janeiro. It is absolutely stunning. And of course, me and my 17-year-old, he's looking up at this tall mountain going, we should go climb up there. And I'm like, uh-huh, okay. Girl, I go through the freaking rainforest jungle with my son. We're climbing, we're like literally pulling on vines to get ourselves up this very like, jungly hike. And then I'm like, okay, this is great. And then we get to this rock portion of it where we're scaling a rock. There's a ring. I felt like I was climbing Half Dome in Yosemite, but we were in slipper flip flops. I mean, the whole thing was so beyond what I would normally do. I got up there. I have a sprained ankle, and as we know, as we age, things take forever to heal. And all of a sudden, my sprained ankle was starting to talk to me. And so I sort of sat there, and I was really close to the top. And I was like, Finn, you go see the view. Mom made it this far, and I'm great. And I sat there, and I was kind of feeling a little sad, like, I almost made it, but oh well, this is the age. I'm 51. Hey, I got this far. This is good. And then I just was like, oh, screw this. And so I start meandering by myself and I start making it up there. And I make it and my son meets me and he's like so happy and I'm up there at the top flexing and showing off. And you'll see if you're here on Substack that I like show off a post about midlife women can still scale mountains. Girl, I scooted back down on my butt. I did not care. I had no shame in it.
No
And then
points for style, honey. No points for style. Not a single one.
okay. And the irony was that as we were scooting down, my son was like, "Which way did you come up? You came up a way harder way than I did." But I was determined. I was like, "God damn it. I'm in Brazil. I don't want to sit here feeling sorry for myself. I'm going to make this happen." And I knew my limits and I was like, let's just get a little out of our comfort zone. And girl, here I am on a podcast bragging, but I feel so proud of myself.
That is so incredible. I can't wait to see that photo because that is so beautiful. And knowing you as I do for as long as I have, I know what a stretch that was for you and how often you're just like, bye, have fun, send me a picture. I can't wait to see it. I'm really happy down here because that's funny. I had that moment. We went to Mount Lassen and my mountain climbing husband scaled the volcano. And I was like, "No, not even thinking about it." I also have an injured child. So I was like, "We're gonna be down here at the visitor center rooting you on." And we had little walkie-talkies so we could talk, so I could be a part of it in the most fun way. And I was like, I didn't even ever for a second consider doing it. Now, not to say I won't at some point, but I think for us to really check in, and I love that you sat there,
Yeah.
more than 3/4 of the way at the top of the damn mountain, had your feelings, and said, screw it. And you did it in your flip flops. I mean, I'm just like, everything about it is just so outside of your comfort zone. It's like the perfect, and look at the pride on you, the excitement, the freedom. I can't wait to, have a more private girlfriend chat with you later and find what else it opened up for you because this is where that magic is. And you're right, it's a very privileged thing to be able to go to another country and go do the things,
But
but we can scale mountains. There are mountains in our lives all
yeah.
over the damn place. And
Yes.
so, where's yours, girlfriend? Like, what is the next mountain you can scale this afternoon? Whether it's making a difficult phone call or telling your spouse to, or whatever the thing is, you can do it. I think I want to just embolden every woman listening right now to find her own personal mountain and do something she didn't think she could do.
And it's through the stretching that we do grow more confident. And I do feel like it's a dance because it's also really great to know our limits. And I think at this age is when our body really starts telling us what our limits are. And there's ways that I think sometimes we can sort of accept to a fault. Oh, well, I don't do that anymore. And some of it's funny and hilarious. It's like, you're not going to catch me like roller skating again and break my wrist. But I see some women out there roller skating, rocking it. So we need to be cautious of what sort of limitations we set on ourselves. Both, I'm using the physical example, but the mental example as well to say, yes, with age comes a bit of like limitations, but there's also such an expansiveness that we, I think, need to remind ourselves to do. The other thing I once heard a psychologist talking about to like switch up your routine in your everyday life is like try to draw with your non-dominant hand. Take a different route to work or school. Order something different than you do at the cafe usually. Anything to just like get yourself out of your normal comfort groove, like literally the groove in my couch. It's like, when are we going to need to get a new couch? This is happening. It's like good to mix that up in order to remind ourselves that we've got our comforts, we know what we like, know what we don't like. I love that, but we want to keep an open mind to explore and to learn and to push ourselves, right? And I think so much of messaging coming back is, oh, you don't need to be ambitious anymore. You don't need to be out there anymore, right? It's like,
Mhm.
honey, we are just getting started. And for my clients who do public speaking, boy, is this ever something. It's through action that we grow more confident, right? It's actually through getting a little uncomfortable and recognizing that zone where you're uncomfortable, but you're safe, versus you're so far in the deep end that you're flailing and you feel horrible. So it's like by doing little steps and kind of like we were talking with the mountain, I went up, I acclimated, and then I thought I can push myself a little bit further, right? I think had I just gone up to the top, I might have fallen off, right? So how do we do it in these loving ways to ourselves? Because I don't buy that bullshit of like no pain, no gain, right? I'm like, I love that you and your son were like, we're cool. We're down at the visitor center on our walkie-talkie. But how do we get into that zone where we're like comfortably stretched?
Right. And so it's right. I mean, for me, it's a mix of intuition,
Mhm.
stopping, assessing up the mountain. Like, am I good? Am I safe? Is this okay? What do I want? What do I need? What is my ankle saying? What's a safe risk I could take? What would be the crazy ambitious over the top thing? And sometimes that's the right thing to do, and sometimes it's not. And sometimes we do it, and we do fall off the mountain. And so that will happen too, right? And so
Mm.
it's not like life. I'm always reminding I have a newly minted teenager in my life, and I'm always reminding him life doesn't have bumper rails on it, like living at home with mom and dad and all the ways that we're kind of helping to provide safety, security, structure, freedom, that mix. But life doesn't there are no guarantees in life. And I'm also hearing Michael Jordan, I think it was Michael Jordan who said you miss every shot you don't take. And I think at this stage of life, like for me, I'm 52, I'm pretty healthy. My ambition is through the roof. I am more ambitious now than at any other stage of my life, which is fascinating.
Yeah.
I have energy for it. And so like what are yours, girlfriend? Like how is this landing for you? Where are you at? Where are you sitting on the sidelines? Is it
Mm.
at work? Is it in a relationship? Is it in the relationship? Is it in finding the relationship? Is it kicking someone to the curb? I just really feel like at this stage of life, we have to go off autopilot. And I think a
Yes,
lot of us have gotten onto autopilot to get to this stage. We stayed
absolutely.
safe, small, quiet, played the game, saved the money, did the things, or didn't save the money and didn't do the things. And we're realizing, damn it, I'm running out of time. And so
Mm.
I know for me, all of a sudden, I'm feeling that. I'm suddenly using the word legacy like I've never used before. And I'm only 52, but I'm like, what is my legacy? How do I want my kids to think of me?
Yeah.
I want them to think of me as the lady who always coulda, shoulda, woulda, or like climbed the mountain and fell and but she went for it, or wrote another book and I want all of those things. And I want every woman, especially the ones who I meet who I can see them coming.
Yeah.
I hear the sigh first, like they're not fully in their bodies.
Yeah.
I wanna see us all be poorly behaved and just wild and wearing what we want and saying what we want. And that comes with risk.
Yeah.
People are gonna judge. That's the other thing. People are gonna judge. They're gonna say stuff? And
Yes.
we have to be ready for that too.
And one thing to fill in everybody about this Brazil trip, I hadn't been on an international trip in I don't know how long. I mean, I was embarrassed. I was like, to your point, I was raising kids, I was locked into my career and my world had gotten quite small and predictable. Now, I was doing some things, but to me, it also was symbolic of like, I'm really like, I'm going out again. And I think there is a lot of us who come up for air and look around and go, "Oh crap, there's a whole big world out there." I've been giving so much to everybody else. How do I fill my cup a little bit? So it's so true that we can look around and I don't blame anyone for being in the comfort zone ever. Like it's to me very healing to know what I like. It's very healing to know that I have a routine, but I don't have to make 5 million decisions every day, right? It's like, I love sitting down with my girlfriends and being like, I like this. Well, I sure don't. I tried this. Oh, yeah, hell no, right? Like, that's great. But let's not get locked into that to the point where we are going to miss, the whole climb, right? Um, And I don't know if that's even like a cultural thing. We also know the world at large right now is cray cray. And I just do feel like there's a way that there's a tension between people wanting to play it safe and getting quite scared right now, and often rightfully so. And also, like to your point, saying, fuck this. Like it is now or never. Like I need to do the thing. If I wait to be ready, I will literally be waiting forever. I will
Yeah.
be waiting forever.
Yeah, it's true. And if girlfriends want to get started and have their own assessment, we could just write the things down. What are the wild things? Like, and we could even rank them. The wildest thing, I want to go to Brazil too, or I've been wanting to go to Paris by myself. I think there are so many wants and dreams and desires buried down. And so maybe right now isn't the time to take action, but maybe it is the time to get clear on what those things are so that when there is an opening, also something magical happens when we make contact with a dream or a desire deep inside. Magic starts to happen, right? All of a sudden, we're like, I don't know, we've never watched Emily in Paris, and suddenly we do because that the dream is to go to Paris. And oh, that's
Right.
interesting. And then my aunt just invites me all of a sudden, hey, we're renting a house and you'll have a free place to stay if you can get yourself there. Like little things start to happen once we identify what would the wild thing be, if it's starting a business or learning to jog or running a marathon or whatever the thing is.
Yeah.
You're right. You make a really good point because right now is a scary time. And I think a lot of people, I've met people recently who are literally afraid to leave their homes.
Yeah.
Like American, born in America, people who are like, I'm scared as hell that
Yeah.
something's going to happen to me. And so I really honor that. And I
Yes.
know that we are going through so much right now on so many fronts.
Yeah.
And I keep closing my eyes because I'm like seeing all these images inside, and I'm like, what are the ones I even want to speak out loud? Because
Yeah.
I also am like very careful these days. What am I giving energy to?
Mm-hmm.
But I see people getting more clear, and I just want to invite women to get more clear on what those things are. And I've got my post. I always have a little post-it when we do our calls. I
I
write
love.
myself notes, but I'm realizing that it could be that simple to just
Yeah.
write down the simple desires or the dreams, or I wish I could feel courageous enough to, and fill in the blank.
Yep.
And tell us, come join us in our community, Girlfriends of a Certain Age on Substack, because that's what we're here for, to witness, to bear witness, to support you. And one of the things I know so much about healing is that just even having someone witness that process is in itself a healing.
Yes.
That's why therapy is so valuable. I don't even know how effective the different modalities are. It's just being in the loving presence of someone who says, I get it. I
Yeah.
see you're struggling, and that in itself is a healing.
Also, I think naming the dreams and the fantasies and just putting them all out there is such a great exercise if you do it without judgment. Don't start to worry yourself about, well, how am I going to get there? How am I going to do this? Evaluating it. Just put it out there. You may or may not do some of these things. They may be wild, but to your point, they may come at you in a different way. It may be spot on exactly what you put down, Paris. It may be Paris, Texas. It may be like a French speaking Senegal place. Like who knows? But by kind of like naming it, it is going to help us continue to have that connection with what is our desire, what is our curiosity. And then, it's like when we are really into something, the world, you look around and the lens is, oh, I see these things because I'm thinking in that way. So I think it's really wonderful to look at the things and don't tell yourself, "Oh, I'm crazy. I want to go to outer space." "Oh, you're nuts." Right? No, no, no. Just put it out there. We don't know what that's going to mean for ourselves, but boy, it is fascinating once we do that how things can sometimes work out. Right?
It's so true.
It's
It's so true. Oh, my friend David joined. Hi, David.
David.
David is one of very few men who I'd be like is welcome all up in the Girlfriends of a Certain Age
Okay.
multi-sphere. So welcome, David.
Welcome in. You can be a boyfriend of a certain age too.
David
David of a
totally
certain
is. He's so funny. David totally is a boyfriend of a certain age. Welcome. I love that. David, we're just wrapping up, but we're psyched to have you here. Thank you for showing up for us.
And we'll make sure to share the replay with David since he's catching us on the
That's right. He's catching us
ending.
on the end.
Yeah. Yeah. But David,
Uh,
we're just talking about taking those good risks and continuing to like challenge ourselves to feel alive, to feel confident, to grow new skills, to just keep evolving. I mean, I really think that's what it's all about.
and
And it's not always easy.
becoming our truest selves.
Yeah.
And I think too many women have absolutely no idea what that is because we didn't feel the permission. So Jessica and I are here to give all kinds of permission for that.
Yes. Yes. I like what I heard. Put it out there.
Oh, thank you, David.
Well, Flesché, as usual, thank you. This is such a heartfelt call. Thanks for letting me brag a little bit about the top of my mountain. I'll go ahead and post my photo of myself and my son in Girlfriends of a Certain Age so that
Please do.
you can all come over there and have a look at my braggness. But the mountain can be inside, it can be outside, it can be in your backyard. Just think about whatever mountain it is you want to climb. And you can scoot back down it on your butt like I did.
That's right. Because as Flesché will always remind all of us, ain't no points for style. Not a single one. I'm really proud of you reaching outside of your limit and like going for something new and having this big, beautiful adventure and being able to support Finn. It feels so clean and clear the way you took care of yourself, the way you were in relationship with him, and all in a foreign country. And so I just like all the things. I'm super proud. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. And I love you going deep into your healing work. I know you really go deep, I mean, when I say that about you, I'm like, woo, like you are like my deep hero as far as like going inward. So I know that you are traveling to some peaks and valleys that could scare a lot of people. So I just want to say hats off to you for your brave journey that you're taking right now.
Thank you, honey. Thank you so
For
much. Thank you for being my girlfriend. Thank you to all the
Oh my god,
girlfriends.
and I love your moo more moo more moo I love
Yay!
the moo
More
I mean, that is so cute.
moves.
I love that. All
Yay.
right. Well, girlfriend, until next time, can't wait to chat more. And David, thanks for hanging out with us too,
Thanks for being
Mister.
our honorary girlfriend, David. Bye.
Bye.